Good evening, everybody. My name is Heather Abbott, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Weight Matters 2020. Trying on my Barbara Walters there. I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Gary Lindner. He's a physiologist and a self-care doc. And Dr. Lindner, why don't you take it away?
Well, thank you, Heather. And thank you all for joining us this evening. Heather and I have been having a lot of fun putting these classes together. And I hope you guys enjoy it and share it. Last week we talked about water matters, and we actually got a very nice video from that. So that's on the Self-Care Hub. And just to kind of get started, we'll review a little bit about the Self-Care Awakening and what we're looking and talking about here. And really, it is becoming aware of and making choices for a healthier life. And the reason being is, I think we can all agree, we really can't put a price on our health, because if we don't have good health, we pretty much don't have much of anything. So the problem is chronic disease, and this is a growing global problem. The US leads the world in chronic disease and pharmaceutical consumption, but if we look globally, 50% of us have at least one chronic condition, and 1 in 3 suffer with 2 or more. The leading cause of death is chronic disease, and leading cause of disability worldwide. And these are advancing across every region and pervading all socioeconomic classes. Now, chronic diseases are interrelated, and they have many common risk factors, and they're largely preventable. Unfortunately, if we look at healthcare spending globally, about 90% of it, a healthcare dollar, is spent on treatment, and only 10% in prevention. And how is this affecting us? These are the top 5 chronic diseases globally: heart disease, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory problems, and diabetes. And there's some other issues too that come up that are related to what we're talking about tonight. And this is just a partial list. A couple years ago, I went to a seminar in Salem, Oregon, looking at all the chronic disease globally and different reasons for causing it. And if I were to put all the diseases they mentioned or they listed at that seminar or that focus group, if you will, it'd probably fill 10 slides. But when you look at these, I mean, there's some diseases here that we never even heard of a generation ago, and they're pretty prevalent in our society. So these share common risk factors, and we can divide these into 2 things. One are non-modifiable factors, and the others are things that we can do things about. So in non-modifiable, we're talking about our genetic predisposition to certain things, our age. Modifiable, we're talking about habits or choices we make. We're talking about cultural and environmental factors as well. So in the Self-Care Awakening, we kind of point to 4 really simple concepts as causative factors for chronic disease. And as I've mentioned before, individually, these are enough to elicit that problem, but in combination with each other, they're almost exponential in their eliciting a chronic problem. So we talk about people being dehydrated, just not drinking enough water. 75% of us walk around chronically dehydrated every day. We don't get enough sleep. We sleep less than 7 hours per night. And again, I'm talking about this in a global aspect, not just here in the US. We consume way too much sugar every day. And each of us have more than 200 contaminants because we live in a pretty toxic world. So we want to take steps and we want to make easy choices to help with these problems. So tonight we're going to talk about weight matters and how each of those subjects figures into this problem. And I want to thank Heather for some new graphics here. I think this one really illustrates the point. The skeleton's pretty much the same size in both of these people, but they're carrying a lot more different weight. And you can imagine how much stress that puts on our second largest organ, the skeletal system. For every pound of fat we have, it's estimated there's 7 miles of blood vessels added, which puts a tremendous amount of taxes the heart, the cardiovascular system tremendously. So we're going to talk about this issue, and this is very timely. You know, if we look at New Year's resolutions, the majority of them historically always have to do with eating healthier, exercising more, losing weight, maintaining a healthier weight. And unfortunately, by the end of the first month, end of January, about 30% or about 50% of those people have given up. And by mid-February, 80% of those have dropped their resolutions. In other words, they've just uh, stopped doing the things they need to do to achieve their goals. So don't dismay, I think. And if part of your New Year's resolutions had to do with healthy weight, I think we have some things that we can talk about that you can implement to be more successful. So this is an article from the Lancet in April 2016, and really what it illustrates, and this is a huge study. I mean, almost 20 million people, 200 countries, from 1975 to 2014, and I think very soon they'll probably come up with a new edition of this study. And what it's saying is obese people outnumber underweight people the first time in human history. And the World Health Organization calls obesity a global pandemic. Worldwide obesity has tripled since 1975. 60% of women, 50% or 60% of men, 50% of women, 1/3 of children are either overweight or obese. And this leads to heart disease, strokes, diabetes, high blood pressure, and many different types of cancers. So what causes weight gain? And people a lot of times are talking about losing weight. I prefer to say let's achieve for a healthy weight. It's a little different concept. It's a little different way of thinking about it. So again, we have some of these non-modifiable factors like heredity, predisposition to weight gain, but also we have modifiable things such as diet and exercise. So improving your diet or increasing your physical activity. And these are things that we've been taught for decades and decades, and they are effective in helping us maintain a healthy weight. But there's some other factors too that affect our weight. And one is dehydration, a lack of sleep, and other environmental factors. So we're going to go through these things. And don't get the idea that I think diet, what we're eating, and how much physical activity we're getting aren't important. They are, but there's other things here too that we need to pay attention to as well. So dehydration. If we aren't drinking enough water, many times we feel hungry when actually we're thirsty. And the reason being is that the area of the hypothalamus that controls satiety and hydration are very close to each other. And many times we misinterpret being thirsty for being hungry. And then usually we're choosing a high caloric, high fat type of food. If we're dehydrated, we lower our metabolism. And dehydration results in poor digestion, constipation, and low energy. So really, stay hydrated. If we aren't getting enough sleep, what happens is we have increased levels of the hunger hormone called ghrelin. Now, we also have decreased levels of the satiety, or the hormone that makes us feel full, called leptin, which can lead to overeating and weight gain. And again, if we're sleepy during the day, we're going to try and choose those high sugary, high fat, high caloric types of food in the hopes that they give us some extra energy. We have environmental factors that affect weight, and including those with endocrine disrupting activities. And BPA is probably the one we hear most about, and it's been linked with obesity, diabetes, cancer, and behavioral disorders. Heavy metals, solvents, pesticides, organophosphates, phthalates also can do this, and PCB and PBBs and many other substances are documented to cause weight gain. So these are important things to pay attention to, and they're all things within the concept of our self-care programs that we can make some healthier choices. The solution is the Nikken Wellness Home. We can drink and stay hydrated with healthy water, just like we talked about last week with Water Matters. Get a great night's sleep with the Nikken Nature sleep system. Reduce our body burden of chemicals, which may affect our weight and our health in other ways too, by purifying the air we breathe in our home and our offices and our living spaces, and reducing that body burden. We can use nutritionals to help detoxify, which a good night's sleep and hydration will help us do as well. Within the Wellness Home, we have a great array of products that we call in our energy pack to help us provide a little more energy during the day, maybe some more balance, maybe some relief, some discomfort, without taking something that's going to have some toxic effects to it. So the wellness home is the solution for this. But there's one thing I think we all really need to be aware of, and again, I'm talking from a standpoint of a global problem, is excess sugar consumption. So in the US, 80% of food items are spiked with added sugar. And on the average day, every American will consume, not every, but the average American will consume over 150 grams of sugar. So that's 40 plus teaspoons or 130 pounds a year. It is estimated that 1/3 of Americans will be diabetic by the year 2050. And I think that's a long shot. I think that if we don't do some things about this and make some personal choices, that will happen much sooner. If we look at this globally, diabetes has doubled since 1980. And they expect it to keep rising to where by 2045, 629 million people will be diabetic. And here's what it boils down to. It's just this excessive sugar consumption. So if we look at it this way, in 1822, the average American consumed 9 grams of sugar a day. Currently, it's 153 grams a day. So that's a 16-fold increase in the amount of sugar we're taking in less than 200 years. And I've said this before, but I'll remind each of you of this. We don't change biologically very quickly. We don't change very much in 200 years, if we'll put it that way. But we've drastically increased what we're eating, and especially in the context of how much sugar we're consuming. That's a huge, huge increase. And the result is what? Weight gain, overweight, obesity, diabetes, and I could continue with that list too. So we aren't the only country that loves sugar. Here's this consumption in a number of other countries as well. And none of these daily consumption rates are anywhere close to what the healthy recommended sugar consumption per day should be. And that should be about 24 grams for women and about 36 grams for men. And the first thing that I think we all want to do is start to monitor how much sugar we're consuming on a daily basis. The best way to do that is to read food labels. Take a look at the labels of the foods in your cupboards, in your stores before you buy them, and see how much sugar there is per serving, and relate that to per serving, because many times there's more than one serving in a box. So a good point to remember is that 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon. Another way to put that is that 12-ounce soda of 45 grams of sugar is like 10.5 teaspoons of sugar in that one 12-ounce beverage, which is more than what you should consume in a day. And sugar is highly addictive, and we need to break that addiction, and the best way to do that is with protein. And it's eating protein is a great way to curb sugar cravings. They digest more slowly. They keep you feeling full longer. Protein doesn't make your blood sugar spike and then crash and then wanting more sugar. And in our kind of fast-paced society, a lot of people turn to protein shakes for this. And protein shakes are ideal, and also ideal to help break this sugar addiction. There's a lot of choices for protein shakes, and maybe some of you have tried some of these that are listed on this slide, that you see on this slide. But we advocate for one that's from Niken. It's called Kenzen Vital Balance. Now, when this product first came out, I took it to former faculty members and peer groups of mine from my teaching days, and said, I want you to, and dietitians, nutritionists, graduate degree nutritionists, and said, I'd like you to take a look at this protein shake and just give me your opinion and what you think. And invariably, most of them said, it doesn't get any better. They've pretty much thought of everything in the composition of this meal replacement shake, and they were very, very impressed with it. So, and I have been, and many of my clients, customers, and business partners have been for a long time as well. So it's premium, it's natural, it's organic, it's designed to help burn fat and boost metabolism, as well as promote healthy brain function and the elimination of toxins in the body. And again, some of the things that we just talked about that can cause weight problems. It's made from organic pea, rice, and chlorella to promote formation of lean muscle mass. I love the medium chain triglycerides in this shake. It's like brain food. It's you wake up, you have a shake, and it's like you're clicking on all cylinders. It's really, really awesome. It's certified kosher as well. We have an enzyme blend for efficient digestion and nutrient absorption. There are prebiotics and probiotics. In fact, I've heard that one serving has more probiotics in it than 10 servings of yogurt. We have organic chlorella and cilantro to help detoxify our system again, and to reduce some heavy metals that may have some issues, not only with the rest of our health, but with our weight issues as well. So it is low in fat with no added sugar, salt, artificial colorings, flavors, or preservatives. So it's very, very natural. And it's a great way to break that sugar addiction. It's also very cost effective. Full retail price, it works out to $3.10 per serving. And you can get it on auto ship to get a 25% savings. So very, very cost effective for a nutritious meal. The other thing I like to recommend to people that are concerned with Weight Matters is our Kenzen 10-4. This is ceremonial grade matcha green tea. And many times when we're trying to get a more healthy weight, we feel a little sluggish or down in the afternoon or a little low in energy. And this is a great way to boost your energy. It's alkalizing, detoxifying, rejuvenating. It's made from whole leaf tea leaves that are grown in the shade, where they produce more nutrients, more chlorophyll, and you can enjoy it either as a hot tea or as a cold tea. So here's the problem. Most of us live our lives in a state of dehydration. We don't get enough sleep. We consume way too much sugar. We have a body burden of toxic chemicals. And I think pretty much we've shown that all of these can contribute to Weight Matters. The solutions are pretty simple. Stay hydrated, drink half your body weight in ounces of water each day, get 8 hours of quality sleep each night, reduce that sugar consumption to a healthy level of 25 grams a day for women and 36 grams a day for men, and help reduce your body burden of environmental toxins. And that is exactly what the Nikan Wellness Home does. It makes healthy choices simple, easy, and affordable. We can stay hydrated with very, very high quality Nikan water. We can bathe in it to reduce our environmental toxins. We can purify the air in our homes and working places, another major route where we get toxins in our body and sequester those. And that'll actually be the subject of next week's class, Air Matters. We can get a great night's sleep with our sleep system, the Nature Rest sleep system. Add some nutritional products to help detoxify, but also to provide us with excellent, excellent nutrition. So we invite you to join our international wellness community. And there's two ways you can do that. First, register as a customer. That's free with no obligation, and you have the direct ability to order your own Nikan products and start your own wellness home. And you have first access to new products and special offers. Or you can join us as a team member, as a consultant, and help share this word so everybody can be healthy by choice. Our enrollment fee is $99 plus tax. You get a free web page. We get retail profits of 20%, which are paid weekly, plus commission, which is anywhere from 5 to 20%. And you'd have the support of a complete support team to help you in your journey, because our mission really is every home a wellness home, and for anyone and everyone to be healthy by choice. I want to remind everybody for this month up until the 14th of February, we have a 20% discount on replacement filters. You can order those online, and that's for your water systems and your air system, your showers as well, and take advantage of that. Also, I would like to remind you, you can go to the selfcarehub.com. And we have a number of things that you can download under our freebies section. This is kind of a copy of one way to kind of monitor and how much sleep you're getting, the quality of sleep, how much sugar you're consuming in a day, how much water you're drinking, and the different things that we're talking about here, to kind of keep track of those things until they've been ingrained as a habit in your daily routines. So next week, like I said, we're going to talk about air matters, and that will be very timely because we're having some specials on the air, the Kenko air purifier. And please join us, invite some guests, and let's make every home a wellness home. So with that, Heather, we can open it up to some questions.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Lindner. As always, that was very elucidating. I'm going to go ahead